Det er Bálint Dima igjen, som skal snakke om rørsopper i Ungarn. Og jeg tror det er både spiselige og uspiselige ting vi skal snakke om. Vær så god.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have the final closing lecture here. It's a great winter Rørsopper. Nice experience for me. So I will show you some pictures about boletes in Hungary, kitchen friends and enemies. So the edible and non-edible mushrooms and boletes in Hungary. I promise that I won't show you this kind of trees anymore. So this is just the beginning. So I will show you mushrooms and other kind of trees, not phylogenetic trees. So as you probably know, the bolete, the genus Boletaceae, was split into several genera based on the molecular data. Mainly these two Chinese papers have done this splitting, and some other smaller Italian publications. If we follow this new system, which was in many ways criticized, it's more or less okay, but there are some problems, of course. If we follow this system, then in Hungary we have at the moment 27 genera of Boletus sensulato or boletoid groups. Of course, many of them were already on genera based on the morphology, but many of them were just recently created. Oh, this is a little bit... yeah, so this is Hungary. I have to use this mouse. So you can see Hungary here, and I marked the best places for bolete hunting. These are the borders of the country, usually. So the best one is maybe the northeast, the border with Slovakia, and the southernmost here, the border with Croatia, and also the western part is very good. It doesn't mean that in other places there are no boletes, or you cannot find any boletes, but these are the best ones. Coincidentally, in this part, the most poor people are living, so they use the forests for additional income. So when the season is good, then everybody is on the forest and pick everything, which is not so good for the nature, I think. But that's how it is. It's difficult to do against this at the moment. So here is a little bit back. So our forests are mainly deciduous forests, so we don't have a natural coniferous forest in Hungary. Only in this western part, Pinus sylvestris is probably native in small patches, but anywhere else is just plantations. So we have pine plantations everywhere in the country, and spruce plantations in a higher elevation, which means we have only one peak over 1,000 meters, so everything is below 1,000 meters. So the main forest types are oak forest, quercus forest, and beech fagus forest, and these mixtures, and mostly with carpinus, hornbeam. So this quercus, carpinus, fagus forests are most typical ones. Here is a North Hungarian landscape, forested landscape, which is very good for any kind of bolete. Here are the two pictures from our oak forest. This left one is a Quercus cerris forest. It's rather thermophilous and mainly calcareous or mesophil. Here is our friend, one of our friends. And this other one is a more acidophile Quercus petrea forest, mixed with Quercus ceris and other Betula and Carpinus. And the Fagus forests are dominating in this northern part mainly, and in the western part. These are also good hunting areas for these bolids, but mainly later in the season, so after August. Before August, it's not very much mycorrhizal fungi in this forest, but after that, in autumn time, it's very rich. So then let's see the friends. So in bolids, in general, there are more friends than enemies, as we think about the gastronomy. So, of course, I will start with the genus Boletus, which is only the porcini mushrooms in a current sense. So our most frequent species in Boletus genus is the Boletus reticulatus. The Norwegian names are provided again. So this is this you can find everywhere when you have little bit acid place with Quercus or Fagus, and it grows from middle of May to end of October mainly. Of course, not continuously, but there is 2 waves usually. So in May, June, one, and then the summer break, usually because of the heat, the drought, and then August, September, or September, October. It depends on the weather conditions. This is another picture, and then a very old one, having sun bath, and completely cracked the surface of the pillows. So this is the most frequent one, and this is the one which has dry pillows and dry stipe, so it's no viscid cap at all, and can form a mycorrhizal with deciduous trees. The second one is in this picture under the leaf. So we can see this kind of heaps. Then just remove the leaf, and then this Boletus aereus, which is the second most frequent, and it's some region and some period. This is the most frequent. So you can only find this one in summer, in the hot summer when you have much rain, and then summer and sunshine. So this is a typical Thermophilus species, and very nice to pick, actually. So here is some pictures of this. Oh, it can be almost black when the leaf is away, but under the leaf. So this was under the leaf. It's kind of almost golden brown or something like that, and it's typically with many colors. So the cap can have this orange and chocolate brown, and almost with this white pruina. It's also very typical for this species, and a very dark stem. So usually Italians come with the trucks, and they try to collect or buy the mushrooms from these villages. And the Italians usually like this one rather than the edulis, which is not so frequent in Hungary. This is more Boletus aereus. It likes the dry weather as well, so it can be very big, so 30 centimeter also. But usually then it's full of insects and every kind of animals. So the insects almost also like these 2 species very much. So in May, you cannot find any fruit berry almost, which is without any infection. So these animals are eating or making their own way there. Sometimes they grow together. So Boletus aereus goes to the most calcareous place, places, but also to the acidophile places. And sometimes they grow together. As here the left side is Ereus, and the two paler one is Reticulatus. So normally this can be found in one forest. It depends the weather and also the soil conditions. Boletus edulis, the steinsopp, is the third most frequent, but it's not so frequent. So it's only in autumn, and it's only mainly under Fagus, and very rarely under Quercus. So only very acid places we find the Boletus edulis, and interestingly, beginning of May sometimes it occurs, and then after August, September, October, and rather late. But it's not so frequent, and when we have this Picea, the spruce plantations, of course, this species goes with spruce as well. So then in spruce plantations we can find this, but mainly in Fagus forest. This is this is two Norwegian pictures from here. I think this is the most common species in Norway, and you have this Boletus reticulatus, but unfortunately you don't have Boletus ereus at the moment, because all these Boletus ereus specimens, at least which were sequenced in the Norbol, they turn out to be just reticulatus. But it's possible that this ereus can occur also here. And the one which is really not frequent, it's more rare in our country, is Boletus spinophilus. And it grows with Quercus, actually, and also very early in May, and then late in the season. So it goes with Quercus. In this western part, it can grow with pine, but only there. And otherwise, it goes also under Fagus, so with beech. So in beech forest, you can find this species more frequently than with Quercus or with pine. So it's a nice species, and there are some lucky days when you find all four species in one day. So that's of course fascinating, but it's not always the case. So you have to have a good season and a good place. And there are other boletes, so-called boletes, boletoid species, which are frequently picked in Hungary. Of course, these four species is the most frequently collected, but in autumn time, these two Suilus species are famous, or the people like to eat it. Suilus granulatus is also is common here, but the Suilus coronitus is a little bit southern species, grows with many times Pinus nigra, which we also have in Hungary as a plantation. But they are good for eating, but not as good as the other boletes. Suilus luteus is also, and Suilus grevillei, where we have larix plantations. And you can find them, and people eat this fungi. This Boletus, Suilus luteus and granulatus is also marketplace fungi. In the genus Lexinum, this one is the most frequently collected, especially in the Puszta region, in the Great Hungarian Plain, in the poplar plantations or very few old populous forests. So in that region, in this Hungarian Plain region, the people call this the true boletes, but they don't have the original ones. So this grows with calcareous sandy soil, and sometimes it grows with the Populus tremula in the mountains. Lexinum aurantiacum is also a species which in some region people used to collect for eating, but usually mixed with other mushrooms like the porcini mushrooms. And we have many carpinus forests mixed with quercus and fagus. So this species is everywhere, usually from June to October, so you can find this. Although it's, when it's old, it's completely black, so it's not so nice. People don't like these, but sometimes they eat it. And this one is a southern Lexinus species, Lexinellum nowadays. It's this Crocipodium, it's a yellow one. It's rather nice to eat, but it's not so frequent. Although one should be careful with this blackening Lexinum species, because if you don't cook it properly, then you get some problems. So these are sometimes enemies, not only friends. And from the Xerocomoid species, Xerocomus subtenentodus is a mixed species with the bolids. I mean, people like to collect this mushroom. They have nice colors and don't turn to blue, which is always a little bit scary for the people if something turning blue. But this one is rather good, but sometimes get infection from this hippomyces, and then it's not so good anymore. This is a strongly bluing species. Now it's Cyanoboletus. Boletus pulverulentus was formerly. Interestingly, that in China there are many related species to this. In Europe we only have this one, and this is quite good, but people rarely collect it because of this strong bluing. And of course they can mix with other things. So the Boletus regius, or now it's Butidi Boletus regius, it's a very nice species, and it's I like to eat. And it's interesting because some people say that, oh, this is very, very rare and we have to protect this. And but on the other hand, it's not so rare. So there are really many places and some years when it grows everywhere almost, and in huge amounts. So you can pick a couple of baskets if you want. Of course, it's not so good that you should pick so much, but it's a nice species anyway. It grows with quercus and also with fagus. It's like, and the flesh is very nice yellow. It's very rarely have a little bit bluish discoloration, but usually remains this nice yellow. And in thermophilous forests, when you have a good season of other bolids, this Boletus regius can also grow. And I included this in the friends, but it should not be in reality. This is a edible mushroom. It's a thermophilous southern species. It was Boletus fragrans formerly. Now it's Landmaua fragrans. Again, its closest relatives are in China. So it's a thermophilous, and in southern Hungary there are some years when you can find this species everywhere. This 2018 was this kind of year. I got this picture from a collector who is keeping this huge group of these fungi, and he said that oh, it was so many. I thought this is a Boletus reticulatus or something, and he picked 50 kilos in 2 days of this one. So this has a typically narrow tubes, which is a characteristic for this species. It has some bluish discoloration and a very interesting and very faint smell. So this guy have eaten this mushroom and also others. So it's edible, but it's rare. So maybe with the climate change it comes a little bit to north, because formerly we didn't have this species. 10 years ago, it had only one occurrence, and then the last 5 years, every year has appeared somewhere in the country. And now I switch to the group which are not friends but not enemies, so it's a gray zone. So you can eat them, but with a little bit caution, because, for example, this small ones, this Xerocomus, former Xerocomus genus, now it's Xerocomellus, this chrysanthemum group. So these are edible, but small and very fragile, and often get this Hypomyces chrysospermus infection. And when you eat with chrysospermus, with this Hypomyces, then it's not so nice. So then you get this vomiting and every kind of like a normal mushroom poisoning. So once I was not so careful and picked boletes and this kind of mushroom, and then it gets this got this Hypomyces in the basket. And when you don't, when you are not so careful in the kitchen to select this moldy things, then and my brother got one piece of this, so he was not so happy after that. So usually we don't suggest to eat these mushrooms. And there are these boletes with red pores, which are edible after cooking at least 20 minutes. This is the rule in Hungary. I don't know what is the situation here, but this one is a rather good one, this Boletaceae erythropus, which has now many names, this Luridiformis in Funga nordica, and Erythropus and Prestigiator. So this is a taxonomic and nomenclature problem here, but we don't go into the details now. This photo was taken here in Norway this year, last year, 2018. So this must be the true one, the true Erythropus, Luridiformis. And what we have at home, it turned out to be a different species. It's Neoboletus xanthopus. It was described from Austria as a yellow mushroom, or at least the stipe is yellow, something like this here. But then it seems that this xanthopus is not only yellow, but it looks like as this normal Erythropus, so it can be very nicely red, brown, and even almost black. So while this Luridiformis goes mostly with Picea, so spruce or Fagus, this one is mainly a Thermophilus species with oak. And I started to sequence these Hungarian specimens, the collections, and I didn't find any true Luridiformis, only this xanthopus. So this is all xanthopus, what you see, almost the black cap, like here. So this is an interesting case. So it seems that we don't have the true Erythropus. Only one confirmed record is from a spruce plantation in North Hungary. So we have to figure out what is the distribution of this species, and in other countries it would be interesting to know where this grows with the deciduous trees, whether this is the xanthopus or the true Luridiformis. Boletus luridus, which is now Suillellus luridus, it's again somebody eat after some kitchen techniques, but usually not. And we have another one, the Suillellus mendax, which is a rather recently described species, so it's not recommended to eat. Also the Suillellus quellati, which grows with also with quercus, like the luridus. So it's also poisonous when it's raw or not properly cooked. But these species are really not in focus. The satanas, the satansop, the Rubroboletus satanas, is interestingly, it's of course poisonous. And when you cook, you can eat it. It has a terrible smell when it's old, at least for me. But for example, Gábor Bohus, he was a famous mycologist in the 20th century. So this was his famous favorite mushroom. So he liked to eat this one instead of the true boletes. So it's possible to eat, but okay. And it can have a xanthoid form as well. Rhodoxanthus, which is very rare in Norway. It's also rather rare in Hungary. This is the one of the Norwegian picture which we found with Tor Erik in Telemark. So all these red sport boletes it's poisonous, so it's not good to eat. And we have this Le Gallier, which is in between the two species, Rhodoxanthus and Satanas. One of my friends tested this. He cooked 5 minutes, and then he spent the whole night in the toilet. So it was really, really poisonous. And now we are at the enemies. There are rather few enemies, actually. Tylopilus phelleus, which is very bitter, but it's not poisonous. It's just bitter. So it's rare in Hungary. It's only the most acid places grows with the Fagus and Castanea and Quercus. So it's not of danger. This one is Boletus calopus, so Caloboletus calopus nowadays. And again, interesting taxonomic question. This one is from Norway, from mixed forest. And this is our Fagus forest calopus. But genetically, they are rather distant. So there are 2 species at least in this complex. But this is poisonous, so bitter and poisonous. So people don't eat this. They're afraid of this red and everything. And the same applies to this one. This is a oak species, Caloboletus radicans. This is almost white, grayish white, and has yellow stipe and yellow tubes and bluing, and it's bitter. Yeah, this summer I saw some large boletes in a garden. You can see here, yeah. And just I jumped in because nobody was at home. These are my colleagues, so they enjoyed that I broke somewhere in. So then I photographed it, and it turned out to be the first record of Hungary of this species, this Caloboletus cluzacki, which was discarded from the Czech Republic. So this is the first record to Hungary. It was nice. It was a funny story. It looks like the Gradicans. It is difficult to distinguish. And then the imperators. These are not in Norway. These are very nice, very beautiful species, but they are poisonous, and they probably contain this coprin. And with alcohol, it's even more poisonous. But it's very nice. These 2 species, Luteocupreus and Rhodopurpureus. And finally, not enemies and not friends, almost the same category, but these are the protected and rare boletes. So the Lexium varicolor could be funny for you, but this is really rare. And the piney, and the Strobilomyces and Porphyros, these are protected mushrooms. And also the Parasiticus, growing with scleroderma, and this Philoporus pelletieri. And Gyrodolividus is also a protected one. So, and back to the friends, just for a few slides. This is really just for fun. So, in these places, there are these companies who collect the mushrooms from the pickers, and then they sort out for export. This is a kind of company with old ladies picking trying to find the Amanita phalloides and other things in the collector's chamber. And here are the classification: first class, small and larger ones, and then they put it in a cooling place. So, and then if you have a good season, you can fill the baskets and everything. You can even make some kind of nice pictures for the bolete hunting day, and you can fill up a car if you want. This one is from Norway. This is from Hungary, old times. And again, this picture is from Norway, Boletus edulis in Utrøya, I think. And this is the Boletus aureus from Hungary. And again, tusen takk.